Films and fermentation, movies and inebriation. Films and fermentation, comedy mixed with tasty libations. Films and fermentation, with Leo, Capman, and Mike.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Films and Fermentation. This is episode 175. Tonight, we are spending a little Christmas time with the Muppets.
Okay, when did we get David Lee Roth to do our theme song? I mean,
yeah,
Van Halen, man.
That's David Lee Roth's cousin, AI Lee Roth.
And he's that scream at the end. Yeah!
Yeah!
I am
Leo, Capman, and Mike. That's right. We are Films and Fermentation, a movie and alcohol podcast, the #1 pop culture podcast on Good Pods.
Awesome!
Yeah, that's right.
I wonder if we popped up on anybody's Spotify year in review as like #1.
We popped up on my Spotify rap as a top 5. Wait, what's funny is it's our podcast, but it was #5 on my most listened to podcast list.
Well,
I apparently listen to Bad Movies Rule a lot more than our own.
Well, you kind of know what the episode's about.
See, that's the thing is I don't re-listen to it on Spotify because I listen to it on the editing program the day after we do it. So it's like I already heard the episode. Sometimes I'll go back and re-listen to old ones that I thought were particularly good just because I needed something to listen to on the ride home, But anyway, I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike.
We're 3 friends who like to talk shit about movies while getting shit-faced. As I said in this episode, we're diving into the felt-covered, holiday-fueled magic of the best Muppet Christmas specials. It's a world where Gonzo is Dickens, Miss Piggy is a diva royalty, and Statler and Waldorf remind us that sarcasm is the true spirit of the season. These specials are proof that nobody does Christmas chaos better than the Muppets. So grab some eggnog and let's get things started on the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Muppetational holiday deep dive yet.
This is what we call the Muppet Show.
Don't forget to drop us an email at filmsandfermentation@gmail.com or visit linktree.com/filmsandfermentation to find all of our social media and podcast links. Become part of the Films and Fermentation family. We are an independent podcast, which means we are listener supported. So please consider joining our Patreon for as little as $1 a month to receive members-only content like pictures of Mike's feet. Go to patreon.com/filmsandfermentation or purchase our merchandise at teespring.com. You can text us also at 904-867-4466. The Films and Fermentation text line, 904-867-4466. On to the first important moment of the evening. What are we drinking?
Mike's feet. No.
This is a very special IPA called Mike Toe Jam.
It's called, it's a Pilsner. It's called Mike's French Tickler.
It's a Toe Jam sour.
It's on the slate for next year with Quaker Rage and
I'll go first.
Go for it.
I have a couple. I look for the variety packs, but I look for the seasonal variety packs. I got the Trogs, which I think I had last time we gathered together, a couple from Trog, and I have Sam. And I pulled 2 out of the Sam winter variety, so I'll be drinking the Sam Adams Winter Lager, Festive and Smooth, the gold can. Because I think there may be... No, that's their winter ale. My bad. Anyway, this is no matter what or how you celebrate this spiced holiday lager's rich malted notes and accents of cinnamon, ginger, and orange peel are perfect for any festivity. I'll be enjoying this. This is a 5.6% alcohol by volume, and then shortly after that, I'll be cracking open the Sam Adams Old Fezziwig. Like the character that inspired it, this spiced ale is warm, festive, and worthy of a celebration all its own. Its full body accompanies a deep malt character, sweet toffee flavors, and rich dark caramel. And this one is 5.9% alcohol by volume. However, this also says it's brewed with cinnamon, ginger, and orange peel. So I guess they had an excess of ginger, cinnamon, and orange peel.
I feel like I've had the old Fezziwig before, but I'm not sure.
Fozziewig?
It's a Sam Adams, so it's a possibility I've had it before, but I'm not sure.
Right.
I have to go on Untapped and look it up. Mike, what are you drinking, sir?
I am drinking a Breckenridge from Breckenridge Brewery, their Christmas Ale, 7.1 alcohol by volume.
Nice. I went a different route tonight. I decided that I was going to drink a little something that my friend Mike got me for my birthday. It's an Irish whiskey, triple distilled in a copper pot, so that it is an 80 proof whiskey. And it is called Writer's Tears. And
Ooh.
I've always fancied myself a writer, but now that I've actually finished a book finally, I can call myself a writer. So I appreciate the irony of giving me a bottle called Writer's Tears, because I did cry a lot as I was writing that book, considering it took 8 months to complete it. It's a very good whiskey. It kicks you in the ass a little bit. It's kind of strong. It is 80 proof. So I am cutting it with a little bit of ginger ale because I do have a 3.5 hour drive to make tomorrow. So, Mike, anything special happened this week?
This day, or this week, in film history.
This year.
Fortunately, we're not live tonight, Mike. So,
Well, I went through this week's stuff for film history, and I was having problems getting stuff, so I even went to the weekend. I usually don't use the weekend stuff.
I don't know. I went through this earlier, and I was like, "Wow, this is a really good list."
Yeah, but it was like one day. I had 2 days. I had nothing. I'm like, Jesus.
It's that dead time.
7 days for this week to get 6 things on the list.
It's like that dead time of year where like you have the in between time between the fall releases and the Christmas releases. So
Yeah,
but there's some good ones on here. So
there's some good ones. Yes, in 1979, Star Trek: The Motion Picture, first movie of the series, premieres, directed by Robert Weiss, starring William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy. Definitely not the best.
Definitely not the best. Yeah, Beacher was the thing, and then definitely not the best one because I feel like it was trying to be sort of like 2001: A Space Odyssey, like really serious,
the little psychedelic thing that goes through Spock when he goes out, and
yeah. Mm-hmm. I only seen it a few times when I was younger. Like the thing that always sticks out in my head the most is the bald chick with the really really short skirt.
Mm-hmm. What gets me is I think that's the first time I saw somebody get gnashed in like a transporter beam up.
Yeah,
that's the
I
first
saw that
time
in
I heard
Galaxy
somebody go. But not in Star Trek.
Yeah.
It's always mentioned, but I don't think it's. I don't know. Mike would know from the original series.
No,
they ever like expressed like somebody like
the only thing they had. The only problem they had with the transporter was it was either down when they can't transport somebody up, or when they did the one time they really had a problem is when they split Kirk in half. His good side, his bad side.
But this kind of supports the whole big McCoy doesn't want to go in the transporter. I get it now.
Well, they did, kind of show that in Enterprise because they never transported people up. It was only cargo, and when they did,
that was like them.
Got leaves and shit.
Yeah. I do remember in Next Gen there was the Barkley episode where there was like some kind of creature in the teleporter that was like attacking him. And then there was a one episode where like an ambassador gets assassinated because the transporter was like tampered with or something, and
Well, Scotty comes
Yeah.
back in the next generation because he's contained in a
he's contained in the
transporter.
transporter.
In the buffer loop. Yep.
Yeah.
For loop. Yeah. Oh, technobabble.
Yes.
I do love in Galaxy Quest though, when they beam up the creature and it's
It
inside
explodes.
out, and he's like, "What's going on?" And the alien's like, "The creature is inside out." He said, "Did he say inside out?" And it exploded. What's the next one you got there, sir?
In 1994, Cobb, a film about baseball player Ty Cobb, starring Tommy Lee Jones, premieres.
This is all right.
It's an okay film. This was a Blockbuster rental for me. That's how old this movie is. I remember renting it from Blockbuster. It's okay.
This is one when the baseball season rolls around. This isn't one that you're looking to add to your list.
No, you know what it is too is like this was the year that baseball went on strike.
Oh,
and
yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
with a shortage of actual baseball to watch, we had movies like this, and you had The Babe with John Goodman, and like these baseball like biopic movies that were okay, but not like groundbreaking. You
They
know,
were trying to ride on the coattails of 8 Men Out and Field of Dreams.
yeah. I mean, it's Tommy Lee Jones is good in it, but overall, it's an okay movie. The next one I really like though.
2001, Ocean's 11, directed by Steven Soderbergh, starring George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Matt Damon, and Julia Roberts, premieres in Westwood, California.
Also starring Elliot Gould and Don Cheadle and Casey Affleck and Scott Kahn and Carl Reiner and Andy Garcia.
Yeah, there's a lot in there.
It is a
It's a
stacked cast.
stacked cast, yeah.
And I remember seeing this in the theater with Katie and walking out of the theater going, God damn, that was a fun movie. Like the movie's a little implausible. There's a few plot holes in it, but it's a fun movie to watch. Good chemistry between the actors, and probably one of my favorite remakes of a film. You know, like I think one of the few like remakes that really does a good job of reinventing it. Is the original one was more of a drama, but the one with Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr. and all that. Next one, sir.
Another one with a hell of a cast. 2002, The Two Towers, the second Lord of the Rings film, directed by Peter Jackson and starring Elijah Wood and Ian McKellen, premieres in New York.
Itself a really good film, and I feel like it gets overshadowed, I think, by the first and third part. You know,
I actually like the second part probably better than the third.
Really?
Oh yeah, all about the Helm's Deep and all that. Oh yeah.
See, that's what it is. It's
like the Tree Talkers.
That's the third movie, I think, isn't it? Or did he end
No,
appear in
it's
this
the
film?
second.
Yeah, it's the very end, like towards the very end they appear, right?
Yeah.
Because they save Merry and Pippin from the orcs.
Pretty much the whole basis of the second film, though, isn't it? It's not until the end of the film that the Tree Talkers like take down
Isengard. That's
Isengard.
the third film, I thought.
That's
Right? Or is that the end of the second one? I don't know, man. They run together because they're so long. See, I forget little bits of it because I've probably I don't have anything against the Two Towers, but I know I've watched the other two more than I've watched the second one. And so like they kind of run together for me a little bit. But it's not. I'm not dissing the movie. I like it. It's not my favorite of the trilogy, but it's still a really awesome movie. The whole trilogy is awesome. You can't knock it. The next one you got here, Mike, is a good one. I can't wait to tell Kevin about this one.
This one I put in for Kevin.
Yeah.
2002 adaptation, directed by Spike Jonze, starring Nicolas Cage and Meryl Streep, premieres.
Now, Kevin, I don't know if you've ever seen this one, but you should check it out because you get a double dose of Cage in this one because he plays his own twin.
Wait. Is this the one where he's got like a very curly,
Yes.
head of hair, like a helmet kind of thing?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
He's
double dose of Nick Cage.
It's a double dose of Nick Cage. Now, this is actually a really good Nick Cage performance. It's not your over-the-top Nick Cage performance. I think he was actually nominated for it. He's a writer trying to adapt. He's like a screenwriter trying to adapt a novel that people considered unadaptable. And his brother is like a screw up who's always like messing with him and stuff. So he plays his own set of twins in it, which is
Interesting.
double dose of Cage.
Yeah, I'll put that one on the list.
And then the last one, of course, Mike saves the classic for last for me, man. Go for it.
Yeah, I put this one just on there for you, Lee.
I wish I had a soundbite for this one, but go ahead.
2014 NBC airs musical Peter Pan Live, starring Allison Williams and Christopher Walken, substantially revised from the earlier Mary Martin productions.
Yeah, because
Don't rush me.
I'm pretty sure there's no line of it's Captain Hook on the plank and they're pushing him off the plank and he turns around and he goes, "Don't rush me," and I'm pretty sure that wasn't a line in the play. It was performed live on like NBC or CBS or one of those stations, so they couldn't like edit out the mistakes, I guess.
Wasn't that the last thing they aired live musically? No,
they've done a few more since then.
Okay.
But I think I don't know if they had
as much as that one and the one before it.
No, they've done Grease live, they did Peter Pan live, they've done Sound of Music live.
Yeah, Sound of Music was before Peter Pan.
These are all
Carrie Underwood. Yeah, I mean, I watched the Sound of Music one only because Carrie Underwood starred in it.
Right.
This is the best one though, just because of Christopher Walken not remembering his lines. I think my favorite line in the movie is he goes, "Peter Pan has a mother." Wow.
Wow.
There's a scene where he definitely forgets his lines, and the pirate next to him, the guy that plays Shmi or whatever it is like feeding him lines in a way that seems like he's saying the lines himself, but he's feeding lines. And there's a great scene where they have to laugh maniacally, and he's like, "Ha ha, ha, ha."
You gotta wonder if somebody at the studio went walking it up, just walking it up. I want full walking on this. Don't try to make it professional. Think of yourself as Michael Caine working with a bunch of Muppets, walking it up.
Walken started his career as a stage actor. He did Shakespeare, he did vaudeville, stuff like that. So it's like he was a stage actor. He knows how to act on stage. I think if he was younger, he would have been good with this. But I think he was at a point where performing live on a TV set was, beyond him at this point. Wow, Peter Pan has a mother.
What did I see recently? It was a meme about Peter Pan talking to Captain Hook, and
there's an alligator with a clock up its ass. He's had that clock up his ass for 7 years. Died dysentery. He gave me the watch.
And
I put it up my ass.
And at a certain point, Captain Hook goes, "Wait, Hook, are you commenting on my head?" He's like, "Well, yeah." He goes, "Jesus, my dad's dead too. Why don't you call me Captain Dead Dad?"
It's like Scar in The Lion King. It was an inevitable name. Yeah, wow. Mike, you have any must-try beer or craft destination for this evening, sir?
I must try beer. Prost Winter Lager, Prost Brewing Company, Fort Collins, Colorado. One of the many nice things about this golden box style beer is that they left it unfiltered. It's got just a bit of yeast sediment at the bottom of the can that casts a haze in the glass. But this is no hazy IPA. Aromatics are old world noble hops and Pilsner malt. There is a good weight to the palate with a slight sweetness that quickly dried by the carbonation. Pleasant floral flavors dries out the finish without bitterness. This very special 6% alcohol by volume seasonal is available at Brewery Mixer in the Brewery Mixer pack. Get your hands on it. Well executed, strong lager.
All right. So we are going on to our next segment. Beer news is Kevin's news. I figured that's a good way to cover all bases.
Beer is good. Beer is
Beer
good.
is good.
Give me a
Beer is
beer.
good.
I like beer. Beer is good. Yeah.
Kevin's beer. Kevin's beer. All
Well,
right, sir.
beer news is good news in this case, gentlemen. One of our favorite breweries around here, or at least it was growing up, was Yingling out of Latrobe. No, not Latrobe. Hold on. Pottsville?
That's Pottstown.
Pottstown.
yeah.
Pottstown. There you go. Anyway, they've made a
I didn't
name
even grow
for
up here and I know it.
Yeah, I knew it was something. Yingling's going to expand to Illinois in 2025. Pennsylvania-based Yingling, the oldest brewery in America, announced it's expanding to Illinois early next year, bringing its beers to bars and restaurants across the state. Beginning in late January, Yingling brand beers will be available on draft at bars and restaurants in Illinois, with their brews coming to store shelves in the following weeks. For years, we have seen an overwhelming desire for our portfolio from our most loyal fans in Illinois to have been eagerly awaiting the brand's arrival, said Wendy Yingling, a sixth-generation family owner and chief administrative officer at the brewery. We are incredibly proud to announce our expansion into a great beer market such as Illinois in the new year, and the oldest brewery in America. We look forward to upholding our commitment of delivering high-quality beer drinking experiences across the entire state. Currently, Yingling is only available in 26 states, mostly on the East Coast and Southeast. The expansion to Illinois comes after the breweries expanded into Indiana and Arkansas in 2017, Texas in 2021, to Kansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma in 2023. We look forward to continuing our work alongside our skilled partners to bring Illinois residents the rich tradition and quality that the oldest brewery in America is known for, Yingling General Manager Colin Callahan said in a statement. Yingling first opened in 1829 with its flagship Eagle Brewery in Pottsville, Pennsylvania, where it is still headquartered about 90 miles northwest of Philadelphia. So, Illinois, look out!
Coming for you.
Coming for you. We go from good beer news to bad beer news.
Oh.
Imprint Beer eliminates its staff and stops beer production in Hatfield, Pennsylvania. Imprint has now deleted the original. Oh, I'm sorry. It would appear as Imprint Beer Company in Hatfield is significantly scaling back production. The brewery recently posted on social media that their plans are to stop beer production in Hatfield, citing economic reasons. The news comes shortly after the owners of the brewery abruptly closed another restaurant venture named Serum in Westchester just 6 months after opening. The announcement goes on to state that the Hatfield Municipal Authority imposed hefty surcharges on the brewery's water usage and wastewater volumes, adding a significant financial burden. But that post was that portion of the post from Imprint had been deleted from their social media. I'm sorry, I'm just finding this out now. This post comes a day after a flurry of social media activity where it was shared that the brewing company let go of its staff with little notice just weeks before the Christmas holiday. According to posts online, the former staff was given minimal notice to the firing, a practice that some people online say is common for the brewery, with one person saying, "I got fired on a 38-second phone call." Wow. In the social media post,
I'm not long to say you're fired. You hang up.
I guess. I mean, guys have a job now around Christmas, so it kind of sucks.
Yeah.
In the social media post, the brewery confirms the firing of staff by saying they, quote unquote, had to make a very difficult decision to let our production team and packaging staff go. While the Post does offer respect and condolences to the former staff, many comments online note a hostile work environment from ownership who had little to no respect for their employees. The announcement mentions how Imprint does not have plans to close as sales continue to climb briskly. The brewery goes on to say that they are actively seeking a new production facility that does not impose such burdensome surcharges. They hope to resume brewing operations in the near future and to continue providing to provide to loyal customers with high quality handcrafted beer. And then an update since originally posting this. Now a former Imprint employee has published the following on social media. Oh, and it's a long thread. Pretty much chastising Imprint Brewing. So I think I may have drank there once.
What beers do they make? 'Cause that doesn't sound like a beer company I want to support.
I know. Javazar is one of theirs. I don't know. I know Megan and I may have gone there once, like in between things, but I couldn't tell you. It didn't stick out with me where I was like, "Oh yeah, we got to come back here." And
it's not like trogs or yards or.
No, they were very small. And lastly, gentlemen, this is a little extensive, so I'm going to skim through this if you don't mind. The best 2024 holiday ales and winter beers ranked and reviewed. So Deschutes malts, we'll go with the malty beers. Deschutes Brewery, Jubilale. Let's see, it doesn't give a ranking. It says boozy but dry with some oxidation, balanced and hop character, minimal spice. Oh, there are reviews from like 4 different people. All right, let's not do that. Oak
I'm just
Union
looking at some of the
Brewing,
names.
Yeah.
Alpine
this
Terror.
this one looks good. Hopworks Brewery, Abominable Ale. Crux Fermentation Project, Snow Cave Winter Ale, Kings and Daughters Brewing Winter Stout. None of these I'm familiar with. Ninkasi Brewing Slayer.
The winter IPAs.
Wait! I want to read this one to you. Ninkasi Brewing Slayer. Great example of a spicy but not spiced winter warmer where the rich depths of malt and yeast bring out flavors of raisins and dates, green peppercorn, lightly woody and musty, a sprinkle of candied nuts, followed by an even deeper port wine and coffee-dusted boozy balls.
Quit talking about my candied nuts, all right?
This thing is filled with nuts and balls.
balls.
The winter warmer.
Mm-hmm.
Winter ale, Fremont Brewing Winter Ale. I feel like I think I had that one before. That
I think I've had Fremont before.
Yeah.
Winter IPAs. Not a big IPA fan.
Yeah, we don't have to look at the IPA.
Oh, you might like this one. Barlick Brewing, Yippee Kai PA. Oh, Yippee Kai PA.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I would drink it for the name and then be disappointed.
I would get a taster of it for the name.
Juicy Pine Fruit. Yeah, I don't know if that's me.
Block 15 Hoppy Holidays.
Double Mountain Brewery. Fa la 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 la.
Magnanimous IPA. You know what's not sticking out in here, which to me is the epitome of like winter beer?
There's no Mad Elf.
There's no Mad Elf, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just a PA thing or not, but
I don't know. This is, I don't know. Well, the
This
Binary Beer Company has one called Arrakis. As a Dune fan, I would try that one.
Gigantic Brewing has Krampus Chocolate Stout. I would try that.
Here's a German winter warmer called Nicholas from Zeugelhaus Brewery. Beer Lake Brewing's on here a second time.
Grains of Wrath. Hail Santa. Hail Santa.
Stormbreaker Brewing, the 2025 Winter Coat.
All right.
Yeah, that's some. It you know me, like I'll drink something for the name and then be like disappointed afterwards.
Yeah.
So,
I'm with you.
so
I'm
that
with
was
you.
that was beer news is good news, brought to you by Kevman. We're gonna take a quick break, hear some words from Coffee Brothers, and then we'll be right back with our main segment, Christmas with the Muppets. Be right back.
I love a good beer, but right now I can use a good cup of coffee.
Have you heard about Coffee Brothers?
Oh yeah, they're that coffee company out of New York, right?
Well, they're more like a coffee wizards of New York City. They source these amazing seasonal blends and single origin coffees. It's like a flavor adventure in every cup. And get this, they roast everything in small batches. None of that mass produced stuff. It's like each bean gets the VIB treatment.
VIB.
Very important bean.
Sounds fancy, but is it worth it?
Definitely. Plus, they're a two-person team. I mean, that's dedication right there. Two brothers, one mission to caffeinate the world. And right now, you can save 10% on your order. I mean, who doesn't love a good discount?
All right, you've convinced me. Let's get some Coffee Brothers now.
Coffee Brothers, where every cup is a sip of perfection. Save 10% on your next order with the code FNF10. That's FNF10. Cheers to great coffee. All right, we are back from that short little break. Thank you for staying with us. Tonight's main segment, Christmas with the Muppets. So we're going to look at a ranked list here of 11 Muppets Christmas movie specials. We did not make this list ourselves. This list comes from denofgeek.com. They ranked this themselves. So you can blame them if you don't agree with the listings here. We're going to look at the movies that are listed. We're going to look at the little brief descriptions. If we have seen these before, we'll talk a little bit about them. I honestly have not seen everything on here, so maybe you guys can pick up any pieces that I left behind. But starting with number 11 on the list is John Denver and the Muppets, A Christmas Together. Kevin and I have both heard the soundtracks before. Mike, I think you've heard the soundtrack before, right? Michael?
Which one? I'm sorry.
John Denver and the Muppets.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the soundtrack. Sorry, I lagged a little bit.
Yeah, but Kevin said he actually watched it last night. And what was your one-word review?
Oh.
I believe the word you said earlier was weird.
Weird. Yeah.
I believe his response was, "Thank God I'm a country boy."
Yeah.
I like John Denver. I thought he was a really good guy. It kind of surprises me when he was getting a divorce and they said that he had to give over half of everything. He took a chainsaw and cut everything in half.
Yeah.
Because he's a mellow guy. But
Yeah.
man, he is hosting a holiday special, and this was 79 that this came out. So, you know,
I probably saw it live in '79.
Yeah.
you probably did, man. Every musician and their mother was getting a holiday special. Hell, even the Star Wars cast got their own holiday special, which we'll talk about on a different day.
Ooh, we should cover that. I'll send you guys the link. I know where you can watch it for free.
It was enjoyable. It's just John Denver. Thank you. He's a tough pill to swallow in terms of like a performer. There's a whole Babes in Toyland or Toy Soldier thing that he
unless you're
it's a little
really
weird.
into Rocky Mountain High.
You know, a dance around a small town square kind of thing, and I was like, hey, he dances? Oh, I didn't know he danced. The music, like the singing and the performance was great. Muppets did their thing, which was great. And I got to hear the songs that I had heard on the record at Christmas time in my house. I could almost smell the gingerbread men baking in the oven by watching and listening to it. You know, I love this album. This is one of the albums that when I go to play Christmas music, it's the time life, traditional Christmas songs, and this has to be put on there. So
I'm gonna play a 30-second clip of the Muppets and John Denver singing "We Wish You a Merry Christmas," and I'm only playing 30 seconds of it because the best joke in the song happens at the 30-second mark. So let me just play that for you real quick.
Okay, everybody, here we go. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Now bring us a figgy pudding. Now
Figgy pudding?
No, figgy pudding. It's made with figs.
Oh, sorry.
And bacon.
What? We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas.
it's made with figs. Oh, sorry. And bacon.
I think they got John Denver. I think John Denver did several different episodes.
So yeah, I'm gonna read the Den of Geek description here because it's kind of funny. Oh boy, John Denver was a fine musician. I have nothing against that, but as the host of a Muppet Christmas special, he has the charisma of cardboard and brings everything down like a gigantic buzzkill. The only time there's a pulse is when Piggy and some of the other Muppets sing "Christmas is Coming" in the dressing room, completely separated from Denver. I've never seen the Muppets so lifeless. It's like the last half hour of a Christmas party where half the guests have passed out and there's nothing interesting to talk about. This culminates in the finale where we get a baby Jesus Muppet followed by a rendition of Silent Night, Holy Night that not only features Kermit somehow looking bored, but it pans over to an audience of children who look like they'd rather be anywhere else. John Denver and the Muppets would collaborate again years later with Rocky Mountain Holiday. At least this time, it looked like Denver had downed a cup of coffee. Luckily, that was more about summer than the holidays, so we don't have to cover it here.
How does Kermit have a bored expression? He's got one expression.
Yeah, that's what he said. Like somehow Kermit looked bored. It was like the guy who had the puppet was just like leaning the head over. Like
there's a scene in it where Kermit's talking about, being away from his home for the holidays, and John Denver starts to break out into song, and the whole number ends, and the camera's panning out, getting ready to go to commercial from DuPont. John Denver's petting the back of Kermit's head, and I'm like, okay, I don't think Kermit's a big one for petting,
Plus, when you think about it, he's actually just caressing another man's hand.
It's in the script. Leave the man alone.
Like if Kermit's right leg started like paddling real fast, like Molly does. Like, number 10, Lady Gaga and the Muppets Holiday Spectacular from 2013. It's an hour and a half of Lady Gaga musical numbers with Muppets doing their most basic shtick possible, all to promote Gaga's album Art Pop and the movie Muppets Most Wanted. It also includes appearances by Joey Gordon-Levitt, Elton John, RuPaul, and Kristen Bell. For the most part, it doesn't mesh right, and the Muppets feel more tacked on. The Lady Gaga stuff is fine, and the Muppet stuff doesn't break any new ground. It's a decent diversion. Here's the only thing I remember from this. I saw this when it premiered in 2013. Mike is frozen in laughing position. Can you see that, Kev?
I wish. Did you get a screenshot of that?
I didn't have time. I just noticed it.
No!
I noticed it right before he locked. I'll get a screenshot of it later when I edit the program. I just noticed it at the last second because I was reading the article.
I'm reading the thing along with you, and I didn't notice. Take a look at Mike, and
I was like, I thought he was yawning at first, and then I realized he wasn't moving.
Mike's having some connectivity issues tonight.
Yeah, Mike is having some technical difficulties. So while we wait for him to log back on, I'll continue my story here. So the only thing I remember about the Lady Gaga Muppet special was there's a number in it where Gaga and Joseph Gordon-Levitt sing "Baby, It's Cold Outside." but they reverse the roles. So Gaga is singing the male part and Levitt is singing the female part. And somehow it feels just as rapey.
Mike is saying his internet connection went down. I don't know if we're getting him back tonight.
Where we at here? Yeah, I'm looking. I just got the text now too. Yes, Michael says my internet connection went down. A likely excuse. We'll continue on as we wait for him to come back. I think you and I can handle this for now.
I think we can do a little bit.
Yeah.
Progress.
I'm gonna move on because the Lady Gaga one is just really weird.
Sure.
The 2009 one is not that bad. I remember this one as well. Muppets Christmas Letters to Santa. So it's Santa letters that kids wrote, being read by the Muppets as well as some celebrities who make cameos on the program.
Okay.
It was a cute special.
Can make out Whoopi Goldberg, Nathan Lane, and I can't.
So it says falling into the cracks is one of the last major Muppet projects before the 2011 movie gave the property a new lease on life. In this special, the Muppets all live in the same New York City apartment building along with their neighbor Claire. Gonzo promised to drop off her letter to Santa at the post office, but due to a wacky mishap, it ended up in his back pocket. Or ended up back in his pocket, rather. Not that it would have made such of a difference, considering it was already Christmas Eve. But this is the plot they're going on from there. From there, Gonzo, Kermit, Fozzie, and Pepe try to figure out various ways to get Claire's letter to Santa in time before deciding to take a flight to the North Pole. There is a good idea in there, but it overall feels a bit bland and like it's going through the motions. The final minutes with both the resolution of how Santa gets the letter and what Claire asked for feels uninspired. There are celebrity cameos, but they are very hit or miss. For instance, Whoopi Goldberg gets to be on the cover of the DVD, despite having about 10 seconds of screen time as a jokeless taxi driver. It's not awful, but it feels so generic that you can understand how necessary it was for the franchise to get its big shot in the arm afterwards. On the upside, it was directed by Kirk R. Thatcher, who would go on to be violently burned to death by Man-Thing and Werewolf by Night. Let's see here. We got another. Oh, it's you sending the AOL text to Michael. AOL dial.
I wanted to say, tell Adrian to put the phone down. And for our younger audience, what that means is we used to actually have to dial in with our telephones. And when you picked up the phone, the internet connection was lost.
Yeah. Ma, hang up the phone.
Pick it up. Put it down. Just put it down. What? Are you on the phone? Where are you? I'm in the house. Put the phone down.
Oh, it sucked, man. I'd be trying to download a picture of Tiffany Amber Thiessen. It already took 3 hours for the picture to download, and then my sister would pick up the phone to call her friend and be like, barely got any of Kelly Kapowski's face on the screen.
Are you going to be home for dinner? I'm in
Tiffany
the
Amber
house.
Thiessen.
Put the phone down.
For the younger listeners out there, Tiffany Amber Thiessen played a character named Kelly Kapowski on Saved by the Bell in the 90s when I was in high school. So I just text Mike, do you want us to wait or continue? I'm kind of continuing anyway, but we'll give him the option.
One or two until he can get it back up.
The next one, 2015, number 8 on the list, is the Muppets Single All the Way. I don't know this one.
Me neither.
It looks like it's like an offshoot. I mean, I'm guessing it had something to do. So Minnie Kaling's in it.
Yeah, it says The Office meets 30 Rock sitcom. Takes the Muppets on. Only lasted for a season, and depending on who you are, that was either a huge misfire or an underrated experiment. Personally, I think it started as a bit too cynical and lifeless, only to pick up and find its footing over time. This became complicated when they changed the creative process mid-season, meaning it had to find its footing all over again. Overall, it was a pretty good show that would have really shined season, but I understand why it did not happen.
I know what this is now. So this is not a special. This was the Muppets series. Oh, Mike's back.
Yay!
Hey,
Sorry, Comcast.
I have
totally
to go.
dropped me.
I have to go back as I'm editing it and take a screenshot because it was just you mid laugh frozen. It was like
I think you should use it for your Christmas card.
I mean,
I
no,
said,
we lost Comcast totally. So something went out. We've had problems with wind. Down the street, the school was shut down because of the power lines and stuff earlier today. So I'm on my hot spot on my phone.
He's got a hot
My
spot.
bad.
He's got a hot spot.
I was saying to Kev, like when I was reading on the screen here, so when I turned to look at you, I thought you were yawning, and then I realized you weren't moving. You were just
all
mid
of a sudden,
laugh.
all of a sudden, all I got is these circles on the screen, and I'm like, oh shit!
it was it was a good moment. It was funny. So
I wanted
we
to tell you to tell Adrian to put the phone down.
yeah we were
But
like
then we had to
AOL.
explain that to our listeners because
Yeah, and then I went to a whole big dissertation about how I would try to download pictures of Tiffany Amber Thiessen in the 90s, and then we get cut off because my sister would pick up the phone. So we did 2 movies while you were gone. I figured it was okay to kind of move on a little bit. So
Okay.
we're on number 8, which is the Muppets Single All the Way. This was a Christmas episode of the Muppets series that came on back in 2015. I thought this was a special, and then as Kevin was reading the description, I realized, oh no, this was the show.
Yeah.
Remember they did that like sitcom version of the Muppets? It was a little more like adult oriented because it had a lot to do with
like a couple years back? That's
yeah, it was the
ago.
one that was it was on like NBC or something like that, and it was
But it
meant to
wasn't the
be like
Dr. Tooth thing. It wasn't the
No.
yeah.
It was the ABC.
NBC, yeah.
Well, because it was part of Disney.
Yeah, it was the
wrong.
Muppets. It was like a series that they did where they were trying to like make the Muppets a little bit more adult oriented. Like Kermit was the host of a late night show, and all the Muppets were writers behind the scenes in the writers' room, and there was all this like interpersonal drama.
And
like one of the
Piggy with Death and what?
with Deadly. Yeah, this was like the main thread of the plot was Piggy and Kermit's divorce.
Yeah.
So this one here was a Christmas episode co-starring Mindy Kaling, who was trying to help Piggy and Kermit get back together, basically, and then it doesn't work. In the end, they stay broken up or whatever. It was a good show. It was like the first season was weird, the second season was pretty good, and then they canceled it. And it was like it took to the second season for it to kind of find its footing, but it was like kind of too late at that point. I think Mike froze again.
No, he's there. He's there.
No,
we hear him.
I hear him. I can hear you. Your face just wasn't moving.
He's pixelated.
Yeah,
I would have taken a screenshot, but it wasn't as funny as the original one.
I'm like, what the hell? Well, like I said, I'm on a hot spot in a basement, so
No, it's fine. You're good. We can hear you, so if you freeze, it's okay. We can still hear you. So, number 7 on the list is one of Kevin's favorites, I think. Right? The Christmas Toy from 1986.
The Christmas Toy. It is the original Toy Story before Pixar took it and made it into something of theirs. And don't get me wrong, I love the Toy Story movie. It's great. I'm a Woody and Buzz fan, but this was it. This was the original.
He likes wood.
That's right.
Yeah.
This was the original. This was, Christmas and a toy. A stuffed tiger named Rugby, who was the brand new toy the Christmas before. He thinks he's hot. Forgot being bleeped. He thinks he's hot stuff. And he's prepared to be hot stuff for the second Christmas. And they're like, no, that's not how it works. She's gonna, your owner's going to get a new toy, and that's going to be the hot thing, and you're just going to fall down with the rest of us down here. And he was not willing to accept that. He was not ready to lose his reign, aka Woody.
So I'm going to read you the IMDb. This is the IMDb synopsis of the Christmas Toy. I'm going to leave the character names out, and you will see how similar the plot line is to Toy Story here. The toys in the playroom magically come to life when their owners aren't looking. On Christmas Eve, as the toys eagerly await the arrival of a new toy, the main toy plots to make sure he remains the favorite.
Well,
Now
let's think about
that's
this.
leaving out the names. That's leaving out the names. If I put the names
Look
in,
at this.
yeah.
This is a little known Muppet
I'm sorry, what was that?
Christmas special.
Oh, yeah.
Disney owns the Muppets. They're like, let's make a fucking movie.
Yeah, let's make a Toy Story movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
now, what I like in this Den of Geek, the second paragraph, is where it goes into the breakdown. The big difference.
I know.
This is
I
what
was
gets to
reading.
you.
It was
What
making
makes
me laugh.
Christmas toy work is that is what Pixar didn't copy for Toy Story. For instance, there's a danger that if a toy is seen and not in the exact spot where they left it, they will die. Even if the parent finds the toy lying around and figures one of the kids dropped it in the hallway, it doesn't matter. The toy is dead. This leads to moments where the toys mourn a mentally impaired clown doll that is shockingly dark. There's death in this one.
Death. If you
Nothing
were
says
seen,
Christmas tidings like death.
like
of
dead
toys.
toys. I like this one. The next paragraph goes. Another highlight is Mew.
Anything I said earlier?
Yeah, you said it was a Disney thing, and that's they had the right to remake it as Toy Story and all that because Disney owns the property.
Yeah,
and all that stuff.
it makes sense. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
the story's already there for them. They don't have to
But
make it up.
did they have those rights when Toy Story came out? What year did Toy Story come out?
Yeah,
They've
Toy Story
owned
was
Muppets for years.
Yeah, so Toy Story came out in the late '90s, and
They
I think
owned the Muppets in the '80s.
Yeah, they purchased the Muppets earlier than that because I remember there being like a Muppet attraction at Disney World when I went there in the '90s. So,
Okay.
Yeah, so they had owned it for a little while now. The next paragraph goes, another highlight is Mew, a catnip mouse who is looked down upon for being a cat toy, but is one of the only likable characters. As sidekick to the protagonist, Rugby Tiger, Mew is endearing enough that you almost wish he could have been edited just a little bit more so that he would have been the main character, because Rugby is kind of awful. I like how the author of this article just doesn't hold back on any of these shows. The next one is number 6, Mr. Willoughby's Christmas Tree from 1995. I've never seen this one, but considering it stars, cocaine era Robert Downey Jr., I kind of want to see it. Like this is cocaine era prison sentence Robert Downey Jr. kind of curious about this one. Every now and then you come across one of those too weird to exist pieces of media, and by God, this is one. Hosted by Kermit, we visit the mansion of Mr. Willoughby, an eccentric millionaire played by RDJ. As charismatic as Willoughby is, including his obsession with finding the perfect Christmas tree, our titular rich guy is but a supporting character. There are two main storylines going on here, and one of them is how Willoughby is trying to set up his butler, played by Leslie Nielsen, with the maid, played by Stockard Channing. Meanwhile, there's a mouse family living in a mansion who also want to go out and find a perfect Christmas tree. It just so happens that every time they're about to cut off the top of the tree to make it their size, something happens and they end up seeing how different people and creatures celebrate the holidays, all the way to the trippy Christmas for owls. Oh, and if you watch the version with all the commercials, you'll see nothing but ads for cookies and crackers. Nabisco sponsored the special. It's a delightful little story worth checking out, though it's nothing groundbreaking. Probably my favorite touch is how there are lumberjacks who get their own Muppety theme song. But because they're not truly important to the story, we never see more than their boots, and their song is just thrown in the background. Almost like they got edited out of the special near completely.
Wow.
That looks interesting.
I'll be honest, when watching the older stuff on like YouTube, if they include the commercials or even like the audio of what's coming on next, it's like, I'm transported back. It's like, oh my God,
I was
if I see Santa coming over on a Gillette razor, then I know it's a good holiday special.
I was watching something recently. I don't remember what the hell it was, but it took place in the 80s, and they were eating Doritos out of the old like red, blue, and yellow Dorito bags, and I was like, oh wow. I remember those. Number 5 is the Great Santa Claus Switch from 1970. Again, not seen this. But considering Santa Claus is played by Art Carney from the Honeymooners, Ed Sullivan hosts a special about Santa Claus being kidnapped by the evil wizard Cosmo Scam, also played by Art Carney. Cosmo intends to steal Santa's identity so he can go around and loot houses on Christmas night. Seeing Art Carney play off Art Carney is every ounce as good as it should be. I'm going to have to check this one out. So this is like one of those weird ones where it's not exactly like Muppets, but it's like Muppet related. Because you have older characters like Snarl, who is the prototype for Gonzo. There's a giant monster who would end up becoming one of the monsters on the Muppet Show. So it's interesting. I'd have to check this out. Number 4 is It's a Very Muppets Christmas Movie from 2002. It's the Muppets version of It's a Wonderful Life, which means I've never seen it.
And I've seen it and went, eh.
It's like you're never going to get me to watch It's a Wonderful Life. Why would I watch the Muppet version of It's a Wonderful Life?
Because it's got David Arquette and Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh, you had me at David Arquette. Was he WCW champion at the time he did it?
I know. He was an angel. And he went to God, Whoopi Goldberg, to help.
It says in the description of the movie, celebrity appearances include Joan Cusack, Matt Lillard, William H. Macy, Carson Daly, Triumph the Insult Comic Dog, and WCW champion David Arquette.
Wow.
Parodies of Moulin Rouge, the Live Grinch movie, Steve Irwin, Miss Cleo, and so on. Wow, that's like that is about as 2002 as you can get.
Yeah, they went
Moulin
really.
Rouge.
Moulin Rouge, yes. Joe
Wow.
Cusack was the bad guy.
It sounds pretty trippy. Wait. Due to it being made in 2001 and coming out in late 2002, there's an unintentional moment of notoriety where Kermit visits Piggy in a reality where he was never born. Outside her window, we see the New York skyline, which includes the World Trade Center. Basically, in other words, Kermit's very existence somehow caused 9/11. All right, moving on.
Oh, wow. That is dark.
That is dark. That's darker than the Dead Toys. That's number 3.
That's
Coming out,
fucked up.
yeah, it is fucked up. Coming out in 1977, a movie that I didn't even know existed until Kevin's brother Matt introduced it to me one year at New Year's Day.
This is a must see at my Christmas.
It is now a must. It's now a must see in my house because ever since I first watched it, I was like, "This is gold." And it is Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas, which includes the immortal line that I will never forget.
You see, you can blow a jug, Wendell.
Can we go get the Christmas branch?
Yeah, the Christmas branch that made me laugh. The River Bottom Boys, the Nightmare, the band The Nightmare.
Nightmare band.
What do you say,
Chuck?
I said I'm
No.
You know that bear Chuck was voiced by Frank Oz.
I'm sure.
Centering on a whole. Yeah, go for it. What are you gonna say?
I was just going to say it's essentially because people listening may want to know it's the gift of the Magi.
Yeah, it's the gift of the Magi.
A mom and her son.
Yeah, it's an adaptation of O. Henry's Gift of the Magi. It's based on a children's book that was itself based on Gift of the Magi. Yep. It's basically like Muppets adjacent because Kermit plays the narrator in the film.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, otherwise it's all original characters.
Which he did with the Christmas toy too. I think he was the narrator for that as well.
What are you gonna say, Mike?
No, I was just agreeing with you.
Yeah, so centering on a whole Christmas special around a widow and her son barely scraping by in poverty can be hard to get through, even if they are adorable otter puppets. We get a quaint and heartwarming little story, but one that I can't really sit through every single Christmas. I can.
I can. Jesus.
Maybe if you just maybe you just get right to the talent show and things start to pick up. How do you rank this at number 3 and then shit on it? The story here is that Emmett and his mother are poor, and while they work fixing jobs up and down town or doing laundry, respectively, Others take advantage of them and are having trouble scraping by. The fact that Christmas is coming adds a magnifying glass to this. There's a talent show coming up with a huge grand prize of $50, and both Emmett and his mother secretly intend on competing. From there, it becomes kind of a selfish gambling version of Gift of the Magi. Emmett ruins Ma's wash tub to create an instrument, and Ma sells Emmett's toolbox for a flashy dress material. It's depressing enough that you know it probably won't end well, but it's also a Christmas story, so it probably will. In the end, it's a charming little special that has some great sets and props that make up its environment. More than anything, it teaches us all the true meaning of Christmas. A pretty girl dancing to jug band music. So there is something I do agree with in here. I think it's pretty a pretty innovative special.
Yeah.
Because there were a lot of things in this that you hadn't seen before with like the Muppets and puppets in general. So there's a scene with Emmett and the mom walking that you see from a distance, so you can actually see their legs and you see them like
It's like a
stop.
marionette. Yeah.
There's scenes with like them skating on the ice.
The rowing, actually.
The rowing was a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Even like playing the instruments and all. So I think it was filmed really well.
It was,
and it has. Well. Go ahead. What you say?
I was going to say the marionette, because it wasn't just using a marionette. It was using the marionette, but also doing what the Muppets do with the hand puppets, where the head's moving and the mouth is moving, which you can't do with the marionette.
Yeah,
not to my knowledge, at least.
And then there's also like it's just really well filmed. I think it was pretty innovative, and it has a really fun blooper reel online.
Yes, it's like watching the bicycle scene in the Great Muppet Caper. Was that it?
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
It's like, how'd they do that?
No, was it the
Muppets?
They do it in the Muppet Caper, and then in the Muppets Take Manhattan, they do the tandem bike with Piggy and Kermit.
Oh, that's right.
And it's like it's a really cool effect. And I'm like, yeah, this is probably where that started. Is Jim Henson's puppet company just like innovating things. Plus, again, like I said, it has the immortal line.
You see, you can blow a jug, Wendell.
Which the first time I heard that, I lost my shit and couldn't stop laughing for like 20 minutes. And
you can blow a jug. Leo.
Yeah, it came to me last night as I was rewatching this with my wife that the reason I find it so funny is that out of context, it just sounds like an insult. Like you're telling somebody to go like fuck off. Like you can go blow a jug. You can blow a jug, Wendell. The next one is number 2 on the list. Yeah. What's the song?
Ain't no hole in the wash tub.
Ain't no hole in the wash tub. I like the other song they sing, the Brothers song.
Brother. Bum, 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 bum.
It's like the Muppets version of Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Before Oh Brother, We're Out There.
Yeah, so on the next on the list is number 2, A Muppet Family Christmas.
I love this movie. I was saying to Megan last night, I hate the fact that, I watch it on YouTube, and I'm thankful that it's on YouTube. It's pixelated to all hell, so it's really not clear, and you will never find it available for purchase, for streaming, for anything, because it's in rights hell,
It says it here in the first line: A Muppets Family Christmas was too beautiful for this world. Legally, stupid rights issues.
Yeah.
So, like, you have a crossover here because you get the Sesame Street characters, you get the Fraggle Rock characters, the Muppet Babies.
So, Sesame Street and Fraggle Rock are owned by HBO, and Muppets, the Muppet cast is owned by Disney.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know where Muppet Babies fall in.
I think they
I don't know either.
They were ABC.
Well, I remember watching them when I was a kid, watching the cartoon series, and cartoon series was on Fox. So I don't know if maybe Fox owns the right to them or something.
Which means Disney owns them again. So
yeah, I'm sure at some point Disney will find a way to regain the rights to this. But I'm looking at some of the plot threads that it has here. Is Miss Piggy stuck in a blizzard? Swedish chef is trying to cook Big Bird. Fozzie's doing comedy with a living snowman. Doc gradually warms up to all the weirdos. Oscar the Grouch pals around with Rizzo the Rat. That seems like a match made in heaven.
So is this
Animal
one animal?
becomes infatuated with Cookie Monster. Doc meets Bert and Ernie in a hilarious moment in the film. Yeah, I'm gonna have to try to find this on like YouTube and watch it.
It's on YouTube. You can watch it. Yeah. This is what I was watching last night, and I have some questions pertaining to it, which I mentioned to you guys earlier.
Okay.
We see the Muppet Babies on here.
Mhm.
We've watched the Muppet Babies. We know that they are the Muppets being taken care of a woman named Nana, who we only see her legs. But this is taking place in Fozzie's mother's home. So why was he there at Nana's house? Was it a daycare?
He's
What
a
was-
single mother. She had to go to work, so he was in daycare.
Yeah, come on now.
Never meet Fozzie's dad.
Fozzie's dad. Come on.
Gonzo was a weirdo from outer space, so he had no parents, so he was in daycare. Scooter and Skeeter. I don't know whatever the hell happened to Skeeter. Like I said, I think she got into like fell into the wrong crowd.
My question would be like, well, doesn't Muppet Babies like throw out the whole Muppet movie and how they met?
Yeah, right. I feel like there's different origins anyway, because you watch the Muppet movie and they meet in the Muppet movie, and then in the Great Muppet Caper, they meet up in Europe for the first time, and then in Muppets Take Manhattan, they meet each other. So I feel like
maybe there's a multi-Muppet verse.
It's the Muppet verse It's the Muppet multiverse. The Muppet verse. It's like every Muppet movie is an origin story.
Oh, so it's Spider-Man.
Even if you watch the Muppets, the newer movie with Walter, or the little Walter character, it's like another origin story. So yeah, but this one,
Those poor Fraggles were passing this rock around for 35, 38 years.
Yeah.
They give it to Robin. Robin's just like, yeah, I'll take it, thanks. And he leaves. The rock is gone. The pebble's gone. They can't gift exchange it anymore. It's all done.
I feel like at some point this will end up being re-released. I'm sure Disney will get all the rights.
Robin gives it to Grover. Grover's never going to find the freaking.
Well, because Grover's always going near and far.
Near. Far.
Near? Far.
And that takes us to number one on the list. The one that should be number one on the list because it is amazing. It's The Muppet Christmas Carol from 1992, starring Michael Caine, who said in an interview that he pretended that he was acting with human actors, which is why the movie is so awesome. Because Michael Caine did not act with Muppets. He acted with who he believed are real people. So he took it all very seriously and has said that it is one of his favorite film experiences. And you can tell watching it that he's enjoying himself. So really, this had to be number one. As the first Muppet movie after it's the first, it's the first. What's that?
It's another must watch every Christmas at my house.
Oh yeah, I agree. It's a must watch for me too. As the first Muppet movie after Jim Henson's passing, this one proved that it could work and live on and thrive without him. Even with the pratfalls and humor, the whole thing takes itself seriously enough that it hits the right balance. Yes, we get to constantly watch Rizzo fall from great heights and get horribly burned. But at the same time, Michael Caine is acting his ass off. Kermit plays it completely straight the entire time too. There's even brilliance in making the three ghost Muppets, but not established Muppets. While I would have loved Lou Zealand as the fish-throwing ghost of Christmas Past, I'm way happier with the creepy and ethereal child spirit giving Scrooge all the feels. The Braun Strowman ghost of Christmas Present isn't so bad either. There you go, a little WWE reference for you here, Mike. If you want to see a great adaptation of Christmas Carol, but don't want to see Bill Murray go on a crazed rant, this is where you go. Everything hits in this movie. The soundtrack is filled with bangers. The pacing is on point. The Muppets are mapped to the Dickens character's perfection. The lingering shot of a slightly confused Sam Eagle after breaking the fourth wall makes me laugh every time. On the opposite end, it is a soul crushing to see them pull no punches with the Tiny Tim death or Robin's death by showing Kermit and Piggy is completely shattered and hopeless. But on the upside, they do show Bean Bunny suffering a lot. Good. I hate that guy. Jesus. You were the worst of Muppet Vision 3D, and I'm the only one with the guts to say. The author of this article on Den of Geek, his name is, I got to get the author's name because this was a fun article. Gavin Jasper on Den of Geek, who published this article December 22nd of 2022. It's ranking every Muppets Christmas special and movie, Christmas and Muppets, A Tale as Old as Time,
So,
the best Christmas movies and specials the Muppets have to offer.
so did I miss Muppets Letters to Santa on the list?
Yes, you missed the Muppets Letters to Santa one, I think. Not a big one, not a big
No,
miss.
Megan will insist, though, if you are watching the Muppets Christmas Carol, that you go to the extras and watch the original long version.
Yes.
Yeah, because there's
Yeah.
a song that's cut out that's in the original version.
Mhm.
That's really good. And it ties into the final song, too, because it's the same thread line.
Mhm.
So it's The Love You Found. So the song that's cut out is The Love You've Lost. And then at the end, it changes to The Love You Found. And in fact, I have a little 20-second clip of that.
God bless us.
God bless us, everyone. The love we found, the love we found, we carry with us, so we're never quite alone.
Hot take. This is one of Michael Caine's best performances.
Oh, yeah.
I love, what did I read? Michael Caine treated all the Muppets as if they were real actors.
Yes.
Tim
pretty
Curry
sure I just said that
treated
about 4 minutes
himself
ago.
as if he was an actual Muppet. Huh?
Pretty sure I said that about 4 minutes ago.
I know, but I wanted to chime in, but you guys don't take a breath. I wanted to say Michael Caine treats this like all the Muppets are actual actors, whereas you got Muppets Treasure Island, where Tim Curry treats himself as a Muppet.
Curry can treat himself
So it works
as a
both ways. I was
Whatever
gonna say,
works for the actors, you know.
like I love Tim Curry in Muppet Treasure Island. He gets a great performance too, but I can see it now that you say it. Like,
So,
you know what my favorite joke in the Muppets Christmas Carol is? It gets me every single time.
the
it's-
pig's going,
No, it's the introduction of Jacob and Bob Marley.
the Marleys.
The fact that his name is Bob Marley gets me every time. So since this was number, we're Marty and Marty. Since this is number one on the list, I thought it'd be fun to look at another list. This is from Ranker, so we can actually vote on these quotes if we like certain ones.
Not if I
for
want to stay
Ranker-
on, I can't.
Yeah, Mike's fighting with connectivity issues. So,
I'm
and there's
gonna-
something glowing on Kevin's screen. What am I looking at? What are you shining at me?
Past.
So this is the Ranker list of the best quotes from the Muppets Christmas Carol. Number one on their list is the absent-minded ghost of Christmas present. Scrooge says, "You're a little absent-minded, Spirit," and he goes, "No, I'm a large absent-minded spirit." To go on. It's gotten colder is the next one. Kermit says, "If you please, Mr. Scrooge, it's gotten colder. The bookkeeping staff would like to have extra shovelful of coal for the fire." Rat number one, "We can't do the bookkeeping. All of our pens have turned to icicles." Rat number two says, "Our assets are frozen." Ebenezer Scrooge says, "How would the bookkeepers like to be suddenly unemployed?" And the rat's singing, "Heat wave this island in the sun." It's a tropical heat wave. "My name is Charles Dickens." "My name's Rizzo the Rat." "Wait a minute, you're not Charles Dickens." "I am too." "No, a blue furry Charles Dickens who hangs out with a rat?" "Absolutely. Charles Dickens was a 19th century novelist, a genius." "Oh, you're too kind." "Why should I believe you?" "Well, because I know the story of the Christmas Carol like the back of my hand." "Prove it." "All right. There's a little mole on my thumb and a scar on my wrist from where I fell off my bike." "Nah, don't tell us about your hand. Tell us the story."
How does he do that?
Yeah. "Boy, that's some scary stuff. Should we be worried about the kids in the audience?" Gonzo, "No, it's all right. This is culture." This is one of the more serious quotes. This is Kermit talking to his kids. "It's all right, children. Life is made up of meetings and partings. That is the way of it. I am sure that we will never forget Tiny Tim or this first parting that there was among us." Oh, here it is. Jacob and Bob Marley. "My speech. Here's my Christmas speech. Ahem. Thank you all and Merry Christmas." "That was the speech? It was dumb. It was obvious. It was pointless. It was short. I loved it." Then we have eviction notices next, number 7. Ebenezer Scrooge, let us deal with the eviction notices for tomorrow, Mr. Cratchit. Tomorrow's Christmas, sir. Very well. You may gift wrap them. Rizzo, there are 2 things in life that I hate: heights and jumping from them. Mother always taught me never eat singing food. Oh, it's when they see the apples are like singing or something on the cart.
I like that. I like the visual one where Rizzo like climbs over the fence and forgot his jelly beans and starts walking through the fence to get them.
Where are we at here? Yes, I mean those are like some of the better ones. These to get down the list, it's a little long. Oh, so number 15 on the list is the "Love Is Gone" song that I was talking about that was cut from the movie.
Love is gone.
Love is gone.
That was the woman that his love interest, the woman sang that, right?
Yeah, that's the one where the Ghost of Christmas Past show takes him back to his school days, and you meet Elizabeth, I think her name was, the woman that he was in love with, who he broke up with because he was, wanted to be greedy.
Bell.
Yeah, and then it comes back around at the end when they sing the "Love Is Found" song. So. Mike, do you have any must-try beer or craft destinations for us this evening?
I already did that.
Do you have any beer trivia for us this evening?
I got a fun fact for you guys.
I was over here trying to ad-lib it because I didn't have my notes up on the screen.
So this was not planned, but it works out that Yingling Brewery in Pottsville, Pennsylvania, is considered the oldest brewery in America. It first began brewing beer in 1829. The first brewery burnt down in 1831. Relocated, it was renamed D.G. Yingling and Son when Frederick Yingling joined his father David to help run the company in 1873. The company survived Prohibition by producing low alcohol near beers of 0.5% ABV and by making ice cream. There you go.
Is this what you guys are talking about in pre-show when you thought I couldn't hear you and you were bad-mouthing me?
Would we badmouth you? No.
Every minute.
We have a cinema quote of the week.
There are no rules in filmmaking, only sins. And the cardinal sin is dullness. And that was Frank Capra.
Ironically enough, the director of It's a Wonderful Life.
I planned that one.
A film I have never seen, despite having seen. What was that you're playing there, Kev? I can't make it out. It sounds like a fart machine. I have no idea what that's supposed to be.
No, Mike knows.
I can't hear it.
Oh, it's the AOL sound. Okay, I couldn't hear it. Yeah, it was just.
I can't hear it either.
It just sounded like fart noises. It's the AOL dial-up sound.
Sorry about that.
So, how are our drinks this evening?
Not bad. Not bad at all.
They're okay. I will say Sam does an okay winter variety pack. Krogs does a better winter variety pack. I had a gingerbread stout last night, and it was wonderful.
I'm feeling pretty good after a few glasses of my 80 proof writer's tears. I should probably stop since, like I said, I got to drive tomorrow, but you know.
Yep.
All right. So thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight for episode 175, Christmas with the Muppets. We hope you enjoyed listening to this podcast as much as we enjoyed recording it for you. Don't forget, you can shoot us an email at filmsandfermentation@gmail.com or visit linktree.com/filmsandfermentation to find all of our social media and podcast links. You can even support us on Patreon at patreon.com/filmsandfermentation or buy merchandise at teespring.com. Or text us at 904-867-4466, the Films of Fermentation text line. Don't forget to stop by the crossroads between Pickled and Fermented next time around. We're continuing our Christmas-themed episodes as we head into the holiday season. Next week, we are going to be celebrating the 40th anniversary of a movie that we consider a Christmas classic, 1984's Gremlins. Do we call that a horror film, you think? Comedy? What do we call that?
Horror comedy.
Or a comedy, Christmas movie, Christmas horror
Got
comedy?
Phoebe Cates in it, so whatever you call it.
Who gives one of the most depressing
no.
monologues I've ever heard in a film.
Gizmo is a Christmas present.
Yes, he is. That's right. So we will be looking at the Christmas holiday horror comedy classic from 1984, Gremlins, next week on episode 176. In the meantime, I'm Leo.
Kevin.
I'm Mike.
You see, you can blow a jug, Wendell.
And this has been the Films and Fermentation Podcast. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.